we go. Okay, so I wrote down over the weekend, I was thinking about some stuff that's going to help propel us into the rest of the year, the second half of the year, the last third of the year here soon. And basically at the end of September, we have October, November, December. We've got to get all of our closings in by basically Thanksgiving is a really good, cutoff date for what's pending there. Will close for the rest of the year. So we really have an 11-month year, but really the stuff that we penned in December closes in January. So it always evens out. Okay. So I'll send this document around to you. But I was reading a bunch of articles this weekend and got a really good one this morning and highlighted some of the stuff. So just wanted to go over that with you. So this is just titled 12 Steps to Win the Rest of the Year. All right. So the first one, number one, is if I know what to say, I can do more. So having a clear understanding of effective communication empowers us to achieve more in our endeavors. In the realm of direct sales, mastering the art of communication is essential to attract leads, convert them into customers, and secure appointments. Being well-versed in what to say boosts our confidence and our ability to execute our daily tasks effectively. However, the real challenge lies not in being fond of following instructions, which is common in our industry, where we enjoy independence as contractors. One of my mentors once said, the number one curse of real estate agents is the fact that they're 1099. Imagine if at the end of the day, they look back at their schedule or punched a time card in real estate and they were W-2'd, would they be fired after 2 days? So you should ask yourself, if I were a W-2'd employee, would I have been fired by my boss at the end of the day? He said that to me, it was Mike. He said that to me one time and I go, oh my gosh, I would be totally fired. So it was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. So that is something that we should all ask ourselves. Again, the real challenge lies in not being fond of following instructions, because the reason why most people get into real estate is for freedom, so that they can do this as an ancillary, business where they can make an okay amount of money, mediocre to what they could make if they treat it as a full-time profession. However, we're plagued in this industry by complacency, by no systems, by spouses that make a ton of money. Therefore, the other spouse does not have to, make any money. So they get into real estate to close a few deals. And that's fine. It's a free country. However, what if that person said, and that's not a knock on anyone that has a spouse. Please don't call your spouse and tell them to stop working. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, in this industry, the reason why people don't join a team or we don't see them, really caring about what sort of a business plan they have or systems they use is simply because this is just adding another $5, $10, $15, or $20,000 to the family's income at the end of the year, which is fine. I mean, it's a free country. Number two, stop being disengaged if you want to grow. So one key aspect that needs attention in our industry is re-engaging with one another. I asked myself this question this morning, or I wrote this down. I said mentally, I was sitting on my couch. I had 3 cats in my lap, even though I only have 2. The other one might've been a mountain lion, but anyway, or it might've been Brady. But the fact is, I said, how many times has a real estate broker from a brokerage that was not mine reached out and said, I'm going to have a free training in the 10 years, August 1st. So tomorrow I'll be in the business exactly 10 years, also with Place for 4 years. How many times has a broker or a local real estate agent said, I'm having a training at X and X a place, and I would like to invite you to it if it wasn't at the brokerage I was at? How many times do you believe, someone unmute yourself, and tell me how many times I, Jason Baker, have been invited to something such as that?
Never.
0.
Hey, exactly.
I would say never.
Yeah, you're Katie, Evelyn, you're exactly right. I mean, as always, I mean, let's be honest, right? But the fact of the matter is, never. Why don't real estate brokers, if they care about the industry, now the same broker will be talking badly about, like, oh, these inexperienced agents or whatever. What the hell have you done to do to engage the real estate community rather than bitch and moan? Have you done to get out there and try to make the whole industry, the industry as a whole, without charging a fee, better? That just doesn't happen. So we really do need to be the ones who engage, and we need to start that trend. Whether people follow, I have no idea. Okay, but that is so important. Think about the collective knowledge we could all share as an industry if one would just take a minute and do that. I wonder why they don't do it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Pride,
ego, protecting what they have, maybe because they think what they have is so darn unique. Yeah, maybe selfishness. I don't know.
I mean, personally, I think a lot of it is that, I mean, you think about, like, let's use Keller Williams as an example. Casey Hart is their supervising broker, right?
Mhm.
But he has to go over how many people, and granted, some of those agents do, 1 or 2 transactions a year kind of thing, but he's still responsible for, I don't know, 60 plus people. And then he has to do his own stuff.
Yeah. So you're saying, so in I love Casey, and Casey's a broker, and we're recording this, and this will be sent out. So Casey, we love you. But you're right. So I think what you're saying, Katie, is you're saying, well, maybe they're just super busy. But for example, and not picking on Keller Williams, but will Keller Williams, is there someone else there that could do an outreach, or any brokerage for that matter, could do an outreach, to the local real estate community and say, hey, we're just doing this training where it's not all about recruiting or anything else. It's just like, let's make it better. I'm sure there's someone there that could do it, or at any brokerage. Okay. Yeah. So both great points. Thank you. Number 3, getting more of you engaged in the listing process. Okay. So a couple reasons, we're obviously, I mean, if you look at our numbers, and if you look at our numbers, sorry, hang on just a second, and let me put this on do not disturb right now. Do not disturb. There we go. Remind me to put that back so that I don't miss all of our sales goals. Getting more of you engaged in the listing process. Do you know that there would not be an inventory issue, or not have been through COVID, an inventory issue, if more agents would work on the skill of a listing process, whether it's 5 steps, 7 steps, 10 steps, and begin to learn the scripts and do some of the stuff that we're going to talk about in the rest of the call? We'd never, ever in a million years have any sort of an inventory issue whatsoever. Okay, so get more of you engaged in the listing process. An interesting question arises. Is the current market situation due to a shortage of inventory, or are we experiencing a shift in the dynamics? A small percentage of agents seem to be responsible, and this is so true, for a significant portion of the listing in sales. For those in the listing process, the focus should be on improving the percentage of successful sales rather than simply increasing the number of listings. Right now, so many people are desperate for a listing and desperate for a check, and so therefore they price at any price. And I can't agree more, and we've talked so much about this. What is the actual motivation of the client, right? We talk about this over and over. And one thing I can say is, as a group, we're having very few expired listings, and I'm seeing you all get price reductions. I cannot tell you how proud that makes me that you're following along with the system. Are we perfect? No. Are we better than yesterday? Hell yes. And are we better than last year? F yeah. Okay, I'm recording, so I'm not going to say the actual word, even though I usually just say the actual word with enthusiasm. All right, so number 4, how can we have 4.5 million sales, which last year there were 6.5, they're estimating this year 4.5, without having 4.5 million listings? The answer is it can happen, right? So to have a sale, you have to have a listing. So consider this fact. We achieved millions of sales without an equal number of listings. A handful of agents seem to be handling most of the listings, leading to discussions about inventory shortages. However, projections indicate that the market will improve further. So the question is whether you're actively participating in this thriving market. Now, one thing I will add to that is if we tell ourselves, we should be very realistic about where the market is. Locally, we're down 25 to 30% on closings year to date, 22 to 30% year to date, depending on town, neighborhood, etc. But we should not tell ourselves that we should be down 20 to 30%. We should say we need to increase something that we do, whether it be skills by 22 or 30%, so we can maintain the same number of daily contacts, or what we should do is we should consider talking to 22 to 30% more people on a daily basis. Let's break that down. If you're talking to 10, Katie, you might have to talk to 12.2 people. I don't know how the hell you're going to talk to 0.2 people. Maybe they're hungover. Maybe they're super short. I don't know. But, you know, you're going to have to figure out, that's the thing of the day, Katie. How are you going to talk to 0.2 more people? I mean, this is going to be tough. Well, or maybe we could average it over 3 days, right? But that being said, or we could round up to 13, you know, go a little crazy. But it's just one of those things where we can increase it. But what if we increase the skill, what we say to people, and increase the number? Just food for thought, right? But having 4.5 million listings, we have to have the mindset where 6.5 million closings, right? We're rather than say, oh, we're going to be down 2%, say, oh, absolutely not. I know exactly what to do. So many people are just going to give up, bury their head in the sand. We've already lost 65 approximately 1,000 agents nationwide. Locally, we're seeing people drop off the roster every single month. They haven't even considered calling a team. They haven't even considered reaching out to their broker to see if there's something that they can do. They haven't self-assessed. They had no plan and they were set up to fail. And so, and it's sad because what they don't teach you while you're taking this stupid 70 hours and all of this continuing education is how to run a gosh dang real estate business. It drives me absolutely barking mad. Everyone wants to figure out how to fill out another form and check a box, which isn't unimportant. But nobody ever teaches these poor people how the hell to sell. And, you know, it doesn't say matchmaker on our license. It says salesperson. Okay, so, you know, should we not try to do that? So I'm fired up about it. But I want us to say, although the market may be down, I will not be up, because I have the desire to build a future for my business. And I mean, for my family or my business or whatever motivates you. Or congratulations, Evelyn, on your nice do it on your own vision board. I thought that was great. And like I said, you can park that Maverick in my driveway anytime. I can't guarantee it'll come back clean, but it'll come back.
No chance.
I also can't guarantee it'll come back in one piece, but hell, it'll be there. At least one wheel. I can guarantee you that. So, but I love that, you know, that was taking initiative to do that a vision board all on your own. And, you know, unfortunately you missed the team event where we did that, which was super fun. But it doesn't matter. The fact is you're not doing it for us, you're doing it for you. And that's the thing, the desire that pulls our asses up out of bed in the morning time is that thing. Number 5, too many people have a valid, very valid story. And I'll email this to you. You don't have to take these notes. Too many people have a very valid story, or so they tell themselves, or excuse as to why they cannot produce in this new market we find ourselves in. It's apparent that many individuals have valid stories or excuses that hinder their productivity in this market. Numerous people express unique challenges all the time. They call me and a lot, you know, the people at Place, and we're hearing this on our operator calls and things like that, where they're attributing their struggles to specific circumstances. Okay, for instance, the smoke, for instance, the market, for instance, the lack of inventory, for instance, the rates. Nevertheless, success in this industry is ultimately tied to finding clients. I know this is a shocking concept, okay? Interested in transacting today. And it's vital to confront and overcome any barriers to achieving that. Before we say any of those things, the smoke, the this, the that, the rates, the question we should ask ourselves, have we talked to X amount of people today? Then we should say, when did I do that and how interrupted was it? Then I should say, did I do my role play to make sure that the people I was talking to got the conversation they deserved? Right. And I just think that it's so important to self-assess before blaming anything. What did I not do in order to, it's just so mature to do that. And it's hard, there's no doubt. Like, I don't want to go home in the morning and say, how did I fail my team in leadership today? But I fail you every day. But I don't concentrate on that. I use that to change certain things, sometimes slower than I should. But what I do say is, am I better than last week or the week before? If I look at every single person on this phone call, I see such a huge improvement over last year. I can't, it's like crazy big improvement, and like crazy big kudos are in store. I just can't even believe some of the things. And it happens so effing slowly that sometimes I don't see it. So sometimes it's hard to look at like yesterday, but if I look at 6 months ago, a year ago, a quarter ago, and I look at the listings we took last year versus this year, we're blowing it out of the water. And then the listings sold, guys. I mean, it's great. And the listings create everything. There's nothing more important than taking listings, especially for our schedules, because when we take listings, we can create the schedule we want. People say, Jason, why are you must be so busy. So busy. When they call me all the time, like, oh my gosh, you must be so busy. I'm not. Well, why? I've got 4 admin who are amazing. Thank you for the 2 or 3 or 4 admin that are on the call today. They help us not do things so that we can just be there for our clients, there for lead generation. Therefore, I'm not doing, these people that ask me that question have not ever understood what leverage is. They have never and never will likely understand the power of the team. Why I can spend 80% of my time recruiting and finding listings is because I'm not doing 80% of the things that they are. It's the number one way that teams make people money is leverage and constantly being in the middle of trainings like this daily. They don't get how fast that excels their business. Never mind the tech and the leads and all that. By osmosis, not having to do 80% of those things, or 70 sometimes, and some people who love admin only 50%. But imagine if you use that 50 or 80% of that time, I probably delegate 90. I probably over delegate. But because of that, I'm not busy. I can choose the life I want. It's a life by design. The hours I work, the amount of people I need to talk to. I spend more of my time practicing my skills, role playing, making trainings, finding listings, like I say, in trying to meet people, understand the value of a team. And that's what I do. I spend no time doing any of the busy work. I mean, I don't even want to, I can't even remember. I mean, I think I pounded my first sign in like 3 years the other day. You know what I mean? Because the pain of Becky whining at me, hi mom, what was greater than the callus I would have got in my friggin' hand, All right. Number 6, you have to talk to people if you want to stay in the business for a long period of time. A fundamental truth emerges. If you wish to thrive in this industry for the long haul, we must accept that engaging people is the path to follow. You got to talk to people with your mouth, not your email and your text and your path of least resistance, your mouth. Those who have been in the business for decades without relying on a team, let's just say sharing a common trait, consistently prospect and talk to potential clients. The question is, are you doing the same? This is going out. A lot of the people that are going to hear this it's going out to, the masses, the MLS or whatever. Okay. And that's why I wanted to record it. So they see what we do every morning, but then also maybe it helps them in their business, because part of these 12 steps is outreach. Okay. Do you have it? So again, you have to talk. Imagine that you have to talk. Okay. How many people are going to call our office during lead gen time this morning and say, my gosh, you just have to come over and list my house right now. I mean, I've been waiting all weekend to beg you to come do that. How many people are going to do that?
None.
Right. But
Maybe one in a month.
yeah, you're right. And if they do that, great. But the fact of the matter is, how many listing appointments can we each set if we're on the phone for 2 hours in the morning doing number 6, number 7? Do you have a strong desire to succeed? Do you actually need the income, or is this just something you're doing for a pastime? I say, if you're just doing real estate as a pastime, go find something more enjoyable to do. However, I am a capitalist, and so therefore I believe in people doing whatever they want. And I also love freedom. Your level of success is closely related to your desire to achieve. I have the hardest time when I see the potential in people and they don't live up to it, starting with me, okay, me first. That's my biggest thing as a leader I have to get over out. I know you're capable of 50 transactions, but you're at X, right? Or I know you're capable of 10, but you're at X. I know you're capable of 20, whatever you set, but you're capable of X. And that not having your resentment right there in that moment is the hardest thing I will ever, it's a love resentment, but a resentment none all the same. It's the hardest thing in the world. But do you have a strong desire to succeed? Your level of success is closely related to your desire to achieve, the pull in the morning to go create, to go be an entrepreneur, to go make it happen. Are you merely working to make ends meet? This is a question you must ask yourself, please. Say it inside. Are you merely working to make ends meet, or do you have a burning ambition to succeed? For whatever reason. For me, I didn't want to be broke after I lost 3 businesses. For me, I didn't want the guy coming and repossess my vehicles to ever call me again. For me, I didn't want the IRS calling me again back in 2010. I did not ever want to feel those emotions ever again, because it hurt to feel those emotions. It was terrible. I felt like a smooth criminal back in the day there, okay? Because my mortgage company went out of business. It was a nightmare. I don't ever want to feel that again, okay? The intensity of your desire, the clarity of your goals impact your earnings. Number 8, and this kind of goes along with number 6. I think it's here for a reason. You have to talk to people you do not know. If I went around to every brokerage, they would say, make a list of the people that you know and only call them. They may have a few postcard templates and a few little mailer things and whatever else. They don't collect enough from you to have a massive vested interest in your success. Brokerages are the umbrella under which many different business models are run. Each individual business is run by that real estate agent, has their own business, whether they look at it that way or not. They do not teach prospecting at any brokerage I have ever been at, with the exception of one, and I'm not sure that they're even fully bought into that. And again, imagine a person who only calls the people that they know. Imagine the person that has a massive lift and doesn't call them. See, that's what we run into. So that, I don't know, that's probably equally as bad. But you have to talk to people that you do not know in order to be at the pinnacle in this business. So in this business, presenting to people is crucial. The purpose of a conversation on the phone or a text conversation started on the phone or sent if they're not there, whether you know them or not, is engaging with potential clients. The purpose of the outreach is to set an appointment in order to get a buyer broker or to get a signed listing agreement. Unless they're buying dinner, I see no other reason to call around. Like, I would love to call around and just say, hey, are you free tonight? Fantastic. You're buying. Well, you know, what restaurant would you like to meet at? Now that would be great. I'd be 900 pounds and I just came down from 900 pounds. I don't want to soon go back there, but you have to talk to people you don't know. And then first you have to talk to people. So that was number 8. Number 9, selling is a numbers game. Success in sales relies on a numbers game. It's not about waiting for opportunities to come to you. Instead, it's engaging with as many people as possible increases your chances of success. So not only do we have to talk to people, we have to talk to people we don't know, and then we have to increase that number in order to hit the number of listings or buyers taken that we've set on our GPA and GPS that we all go over ad nauseum. Okay, I know your favorite power up is when we go over the GPA, right? Katie's nodding. Are you asleep, Katie? Okay. So number 10, be in the group of realtors doing 5+ homes a year. Now, okay, I wrote this down. This came from one of my mentors. For us, I'm gonna say, try to hang around with real estate agents that are doing 15+ per year. The reason why I say that is, if you're at 0, hanging around with people who do 5 is good. So we're not trying to scare anybody away with these numbers, but if you're at 0, you should hang around with people doing 5 to 10. If you're at 5 to 10, you should hang around with people doing 15 to 20. If you're doing 15 to 20, 20 to 25, you should hang around with people who are doing 30, 35, 40, 50. You always want to be hanging around. There's one thing I always did. I always hung around with people who closed 100 transactions. That's who I hang around with. That's who I was hanging around with in the industry, because I understood, everybody's always heard, like, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around. So I wanted to be, my goal was 100. And then when we smashed through that, I realized that it wasn't really that good of a goal. So I had to set a different kind of goal. And I still struggle with that, right? So now I hang around with people who are doing up to over 1,000 transactions per year. And so now my goal is to have the systems that would allow me to do that and improve the life of 12 people now. And my goal, it's okay, I had to move my goals down a little bit, adjust them for the market, and that's fine. But the fact of the matter is I still have them. So, but the people you hang around should be just out of grasp of where you are at skill level wise. Just some advice. Number 11. Your success or lack thereof is directly tied to your schedule. What are you on a scale of 1 to 10? How hard are you protecting your 2 hours of lead gen every morning? Are you even lead genning every morning? Remember, I know, we're generally doing a good idea of that. One thing I will say, and this is with all due respect that I see in the morning time, is that we take after power up. Usually my power ups go too long. I'm going to try to shorten them up here. I've got 1 more minute to go. We'll do some gratitudes and then go. But I really, really, really see us not hopping right on the phones first thing in the morning. There's always something we do in between power up and the phones. And I think if we could move that to before power up or right at 11 or 11:30, I think that would be a massive difference in our business. Okay. Out of love, I just say that to my team. Okay. And I understand there's things and calls and texts and family and it's summer and I get it. Don't allow that to pervert your schedule. Okay, please. Number 12, no negative thought ever produced a good result. Maintaining a positive mindset is essential. Negativity seldom leads to positive results. Okay, unless you're stepping on something super sharp and you're like, oh, this hurts. That's kind of a negative thought. And then you remove your foot from the Lego that your kid left on the friggin' floor. So Cassie has a Lego minefield. Do any of your other kids have Lego minefields besides mine? I mean, this is like, they had punji sticks in the Vietnam War. Now we have Legos. Okay. So those rewarded thoughts provide valuable insight applicable to anyone in any industry, fostering growth and success in the world of sales. Whatever we have to do to get our mindset right, we should definitely take the time to do that in the morning, especially if we're lead genning over the telephone. Make sure we take that 5, 10, 15-minute break hourly just to adjust, tell ourselves something good about ourselves, evaluate the call, make any quick skill changes that we need to do, and go from there. But those are some things I wrote down for you. I got those from 3 or 4 different sources and summarized. Hopefully they were helpful to you. So I want to open that discussion up to the group, and then we'll get on with our day because, I don't want to get in the way of your 2 hours. So let's unmute everybody and then let's go from there. Was the sound quality bad, Katie?
Yeah, are you gonna end the recording?